No, it's lovely to see you. Obviously, you don't get a military presentation smack bang in the middle of one of our security conferences every day. So hopefully that's a bit of a breath of fresh air. And talking about breaths of fresh air, in fact, what we're trying to get to the bottom of is we're talking about this SOC of the future. Well, who's going to operate this SOC of the future? And so we've got some very nice questions on the SOC analyst of the future. So we're going to go from where we are now to where we're going to be. Sanjanaa, why don't I start with you? Okay. Who is the analyst today?
So first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And yes, so coming into the question, who is the SOC analyst today? So before I say about today, let me just touch upon a little bit about the past. So initially, when we started off with the SOCs, it was more about just controlling and monitoring, looking for some issues or some suspicious incidents, and then reporting it to the incident response team. But now, when it comes to the SOC, we have a large team and we have different tiers in that. And everybody is given specific roles. Like starting from L1 analyst, it's just more about monitoring and looking for the alerts, seeing if they are false positives or not, and then looking into the playbooks and working on the alerts. So if there is an issue, it is being given to the L2 and then to L3 and so on. So that is how it is going on today. And in the past, we never had any terms to actually filter out low fidelity alerts, but now we can actually do that. So that is a little bit of advancement. So that's the SOC now. But the SOC in future should be something which is more in moving into automation or threat intelligence, where there is a reduction on the workload of the L1 analysts to work on the alerts, but at the same time spend more time in analyzing them and going into the root cause. So that is where we should be moving forward to.
I like it. I like it. So that kind of combines a couple of topics there. So Jannik, I mean, who is the analyst for you, and is automation the key to helping this apparently, poor analyst? The popular media says, well, the analyst is doing lots of repetitive tasks, so we need to make something much more meaty for them to do. Does that narrative resonate with you, Jannik?
Yeah, so I guess there are different approach in different companies we see, especially depending on the size of the companies and in which state the security operation centers are. Analysts, in a general term spoken, are moreover like not really a competitive advantage for a company. So far, so seen, and I would like to extend this idea later on. But nowadays, I guess there's a high fluctuation rate sometimes in analysts, and this is because of the value how analysts are seen nowadays in the company. And I guess there's a huge possible step forward to get even the analyst nowadays into not only being an analyst in the future, but automate what they do right now as far as possible and try to make their work more meaningful for the company. And I guess we will come later to it, but a risk-based approach, for example, and giving them more values in the chain of how the company works will, of course, gives a business and business advantage.
So a business advantage, and then the idea is, of course, implement some automation for this future SOC, and you'll get them working on more meaningful things. So Sanjanaa, is one of those more meaningful tasks improvisation of the rules that they're working on?
Yes, definitely that is one of the aspects, because first step is to do the threat hunting job. So you are actually looking into what are the new attacks that are coming in. So then you know what rules you need to actually modify in order to capture them or to protect your organization from those attacks. So rule modification is one of the aspects that the analyst can actually develop towards. So when you have good rules set, so then the false positives would also reduce, and you would have more of meaningful alerts to work on. So that makes much more sense. And also, we can also work towards the threat intelligence part of it. So these are some of the things that I think analysts should start working on in future and not just look into monitoring and working on the alerts as such.
Okay. Well, I like that. So that's something more meaty. Jannik, would that be possible in every organization, or is there another risk-based approach to being a SOC analyst that's more meaty?
Yeah, so we know pretty good which threats we have out there, but every company need to identify their risk they are facing right now. And if they don't come up with a proper evaluation of that, there might be misleading work conditions for the analyst in the security operations center. So I guess what is important for being a leader in the company in these terms, making it an end-to-end change, so chain to understand what risks we have out there and how to integrate the feedback the analysts are providing us within the company, how to integrate those improvements within our business. So I guess this is a competitive advantage when we look through this process, how we can assure not being always making like a fire going out, but making it more protected in the future wise.
Yeah, jumping on lots of different fires and so on is really tough. But now, I said in the very, very beginning, I don't know if you're there. I don't like to say Bildungslöcher because in German it doesn't quite work, and there's connotations of, well, you shouldn't have had any Bildungslöcher in the first place. But evidently things change and skills need to be developed. Sanjanaa, what skills does the analyst need to operate the SOC of the future, or even the virtual SOC?
Okay. So some of the skills that I would say is first is the curiosity and the interest to actually learn more and look into things in detail. So that is one of the main skills that an analyst requires. So once that is there and you are looking into the details, so instead of just following the playbooks and just looking whether this alert needs to be performed, is it malicious or not, you can actually go into an in-depth analysis, look at what is the root cause. Even you can just take some time and do that. So that will give you a lot of information about what has actually occurred. And you will end up reading about it, and you will learn. You can also start interacting with the mitigation teams so that you can have some interaction with them. See, okay, this is the alert that happened. So how do you mitigate it? So you can work with them in partnership. Or as such, in cybersecurity, the mitigation team, the SOC, all of them have to work together actually. So this is a good platform for them, so they can actually acquire that skills. And knowing a little bit about the mitigation and the offensive side of security will definitely help analysts who are working in the SOC, because that will give them a better perspective. So these are some of the skills that I would say, like, go think out of the box, do a little bit more than what is being given, so that even the analysts don't get bored doing the same mundane task, because after some time some of the alerts are very repetitive, so it gets boring. So this could be something that they can focus on.
That's nice, and then at least the company benefits as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah, Jannik, what about for you? Is it a question of skills gaps, or simply the tech has changed, so we need to learn more? More.
So, first of all, I totally agree to Sanjana. It is really important to give these people meaningful work, not only to give them like, do this whole day and you're done, and the next day you will do just the same. So I guess it's not so much important to talk about skills, because we need, of course, build up people's skills in our company. We cannot see it from a perspective that they will get highly skilled and get into our company and we can benefit out of them and they will stay in the same level. We can take like new joiners from graduation school and build them up as analysts pretty well, as long as we have internal capabilities for that. And this is, I guess, a perspective every businessman should, or every leader should have, that educating the people and giving them meaningful work will always embrace the people to do a better work and be more efficient in their job. So I guess the feedback the analyst can give to the business is so meaningful and so important for the business itself, that it should be, for the management, really important to gather this from the analyst and not only the outcome of how many tickets were solved.
Yeah, exactly, because that ticket question comes up when we deal with our Managed Security Services Forum event. And, we're going to have a panel later about the MSP versus the MSS. And, sometimes someone buys the basic package and then they come in the morning and say, I've lost $1 million. And they're like, yeah, we sent you the ticker tape message at 2 a.m. in a text message.
True.
So Sanjanaa, these skills, getting a bit more interested, how are we going to get the SOC analyst looking into mitigation and remediation, especially as a third party? Isn't that a bit difficult? Or is there a place for that?
So I think this would link to the point that we discussed about automation. So when there is automation that is coming into picture, actually there are chances that the L1 analyst role can get vanished or partially vanished, because there are many organizations that are moving towards automation, and so is my organization. So we have kind of developed a tool which would actually do the analysis when an alert is being triggered, and it will give us the suggestions of whether it is a suspicious or not. So when we are using tools like that, now we are in the trial phase. So we still keep our analysts doing the analysis, and then we compare if the tool is actually working in accordance, probably when it is well developed and we can implement it. So then most of the organizations are going to move towards that. So the L1 part might get vanished, and it would be more of L2. So in L2, you are more into the analysis part. So so an alert has occurred, and the tool is giving you some sort of information that it is suspicious. So then the next step is to actually go into that, see what has occurred, what is the root cause, which all points have been touched, and what else could have it triggered, or what can be done. So that is when you are going to go into the mitigation part of it. How can we avoid this in future? So that is also when you're doing as a third party, you're giving a better service to your customers as well, because you're giving something extra. You're giving them some points on how to mitigate, and they would be definitely interested in that. Not necessarily every organization should have an offensive and a defensive team, right? So that is something that we can do. We can bridge it together, or start working together. So that's when these points will actually come into picture.
I like it because, as you said, you can advise, and if that was me and my day job, that would suddenly make the role quite appealing, or at least more engaging. And advising them is totally different than hitting back, which is not allowed in many places, and it's totally different from actually taking it and doing the remediation. What about you, Jannik? I know you've been on both the inside and the third-party side of the house. Is that the future? That value-added advisor role to the analyst of the future?
Yeah, I guess this is an interesting question, because we have several layers of interest here. So talking about advice and how external maybe get into the internal perspective of a company, I guess the key contribution goes always about the top management, because the top management itself knows best what is good for the company and what not, and therefore always have like the power to direct the knowledge which will come into it. So I guess automatization is really important in this perspective. And when you look at it as like a bank account where you put like every day $10 on it, the interest rate will be so much that in maybe 10 years, always investing it, there will be so much interest in place that your business at all is much more valued, and even the knowledge you gained so far. So I guess it's not about making projects and getting advisory from external, which need to be hired, and it takes 1 month until they really understand what you are doing in your business. It is important to do step-by-step approach by looking what can we actually do today better to make it more even tomorrow a better place to work, not only to work it, but that our company is better protected in a security operations wise. Right? So
I mean, would you go to work to do that role? I think that actually sounds much better than today's analyst, which may or may not. I mean, it's different companies, but that sounds like a good role to have.
Yeah, so I guess it's about scalability. Right now, I'm working in a really small company with 200 employees. I can do it by myself, and I will work it up with some colleagues. But looking at a really big company, which I was previously in, it is really difficult to find the right people in the right place with the right skills, right? So you need to manage this perspective. And being successful, meaning always to spend some resources into it. And again, I just want to not stress it, but to mention it again, to see the analyst as a feedback, and feedback is the most valuable you can get within a company, as long as it is straightforward. Then you can protect even your business pretty far better than you don't. So yes, I really like Sanja's approach of getting it.
Well, this is good. And, obviously, if you're a business leader, sometimes you think to yourself, why do I care about the analyst? I care about results, which, yeah, fine. But if you don't understand what they're doing, they might end up with some funny results. People often do that with marketing, and they get very odd results out. But that's another story. So, Sanjanaa, who is the analyst of the future in the SOC, assuming we still have SOCs?
Okay, so assuming we still have SOCs, yes, we will. If not the actual SOC within a room, but virtual SOC could be future. So in that case, analysts would definitely have to do everything virtually. That is the handovers, the ticketing, and we have multiple tools that are into picture. So handling everything together, but at the same time maintaining it more like actual SOC. Like for now during the pandemic situation, for the past 7 months, we are all been doing a kind of a virtual SOC where we are just interacting with our colleagues virtually, but at the same time, we are doing everything just like how it was previously, the handing over the procedures, policies, following everything, documenting them. So the analysts of the future will have to start looking into these aspects as well. So they are bringing in a new aspect of procedures and documents that they need to start preparing. And so that is also something that the analyst will have to do. And the next step, like I said about the automating threat intelligence, threat hunting, these kind of things are something that the SOC analysts will have to start building up their skills on, looking into the future. And yes, so I think the SOCs will still be there, but probably in a definitely in a different way where the analysts are comfortable and they are also happy, that they're doing something for the organization by protecting them. Usually when analysts join the organization, they come up with that sort of excitement that they are actually going to protect the organization. But after some time, because of the mundane tasks that they keep doing, they kind of get bored. And that's why you can see that in many organizations, the analysts keep changing. You have to keep finding new ones every now and then, because you need to keep them motivated and give them something more that they feel satisfied that that they're doing something really good, and at the same time they are getting exposed to new technologies or new tools. So that is something that I would say the SOC analysts of the future would be.
That's good, and thanks for the honesty. It's important to think about that. Obviously, on the physical side, a lot of the physical analysts are basically in trouble because staring at a computer monitor for CCTV is not funny, and it's not current either. It's an old tech. So I'll tell you what, and I'll leave it with you, Jannik. Who is the analyst of the future for you?
Yes, so I guess he will be a big part of the security chain, and to be so, he needs to understand what assets we need to protect and which risks we have out there, and why his role is so much important. So I guess he needs a good business understanding, and so far he will embrace that he makes every day a good job about how to protect those assets against all the frauds and legal penalties maybe out there for us, so that he can make every day good decisions how to come up with feedback, and how we can integrate this feedback will be, of course, then on us. So I guess he will a broad skilled technical guy, like in T-shape, with really good communication skills and understanding of the broad business, and also having a shape understanding of what he's doing, trying to understand what security issues are lying there within an incident and how to get it solved.
Great. It sounds like a much more attractive role than people may have had in the past. So that's good news. But yeah, now we are out of time. This is really good. Sanjanaa and Jannik, thank you very much. Please give our wonderful panelists a round of applause. I found the virtual clap icon. One day we'll get the noise of clapping or something going on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us, Philip.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to see you, and I'll see you in the audience. Perfect. Well, no, this is very interesting. So far we've gone on a very big gambit